So today we got the first trailer for the new Battlefield game called Battlefield 2042. I do have to say, I didn't think it was going to be called that even when the leaks happened a few days ago. I thought it was just going to be called Battlefield, but here we are. I'm wrong. And you know what? This leaker was completely right. So first things first, I just want to talk about the feeling of the trailer. It was so fun. I think that's what I really got out of it. It was all out war fun. It brought me back to trailers from back in the day when they didn't take themselves too seriously. They just wanted to show off a good time, lots of explosions, lots of firefights. And I have to tell you, I was all in on the ride. They really wanted to show off those only in Battlefield moments, you know, those special moments that can't happen in really any other game, only in Battlefield. And I really do feel like they succeeded with that. We got a lot of information coming out about the game. We unfortunately didn't see any gameplay yet. That's going to be taking place at the Xbox press conference on the 13th. So 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, June 13th, we'll see gameplay. But we did get a whole bunch of other information that I really do want to talk to you guys about right now. One of the biggest things is this new specialist classes they're adding to Battlefield. They're not per se saying goodbye to Assault Engineer, Medic, and the Recon classes, but they're just kind of changing it in a way where you're now going to use a specialist. They're going to have 10 specialists at launch, and each of them are going to be under that subclass, that Assault Engineer, Medic, and Recon, but they're all going to have a different playstyle, they're saying, and kind of different perks for you to use. They're all going to come with one special gadget they can use and one kind of aura perk ability that's passive. We did get to see 4 out of the 10 that are going to be available at launch. And the first one that we're going to take a look at is Webster McKay. He is an assault soldier. He's Canadian. Whoop, whoop. He has a grappling hook and it says fires a rope that attaches to surfaces. When attached, the rope is retracted and the player gets pulled towards the attach point. So like a Canadian Batman, you guys. I'm down for this. He does have a passive ability called Nimble. He's going to allow the player to move more quickly while aiming down sights and also further enhancing the speed related advantages that he is going to give you. The support class we got to see was Maria. She is the German combat surgeon, and her gadget is she's able to fire a syringe at friendlies to provide healing. If fired at an enemy, the syringe will do damage. I have heard on other places that if you fire this at a dead teammate, it will revive them, but from the Battlefield webpage here, it only says it'll heal them. So I'm not 100% sure on that. And her passive ability allows the players to return down allies to combat with full health when you revive them. We got our Russian engineer here named Boris. I really love this character. He has as a gadget an SG-36 sentry system, so it is a turret. It automatically spots and engages enemy targets detected within a certain area, and this is where I'm hoping the dog comes in. I'm guessing either Boris or someone else gets kind of like the same system but with the dog. His special passive ability is spots the enemy target when the sentry gun locks onto the enemy in question. So really liking this guy. I think I'm going to use him. I've always been a sentry type of player. I don't know why, maybe call it a crutch, but I'm liking Boris, guys. I'm liking Boris. I like the Canadian Batman too, but Boris is pretty dope. Lastly, we got our Recon Casper. He's South African. His gadget is going to be this OVP recon drone. It's going to spot nearby moving targets and can distort enemies by using the EMP blast that it has. Also, it can be used to designate targets for lock-on weapons. His passive ability is called Movement Sensor, and it alerts the player to approaching enemies both while boots on the ground and while piloting the recon drone. Something to keep in the back of your mind about specialists is you can only have one unique specialist per squad. So what I'm trying to say there is if you main Casper, let's say, and you join into a squad and someone already picked him, well, you've got to pick someone else. And I don't think that's a totally bad thing. It might leave a sour taste in some people's mouth. It just means you're going to have to get good at multiple specialists and not just rely on the one that you use constantly. How are you feeling about specialists? Put in the comments below. I really do want to know everyone's take on this because I've heard some people are really excited and I've heard some people are really down about this. Me personally, I'm willing to try anything and everything. I love change, and sometimes change does suck, but I'm willing to try it at least. One big change that is for the positive is if you do play, say, Casper and he is a recon, you aren't just going to have to use snipers only. Any specialist can use any weapon. So if you are, Casper and he's recon, you can still use the M4 or the MP5. It's all up to you and your playstyle. They are also doing a thing called on-the-fly weapon modding. You're going to be able to bring up this plus menu, it's called, named after the shape, and you can change the weapon's sight, barrel, underbarrel attachment, and ammo type. So let's say you're using, an M4, you have an ACOG on it, you've been doing medium range, and you're about to go up an elevator to close range combat. So while you're waiting and you're taking the elevator up, you can change the barrel to, say, a shorter range barrel, and then maybe change your ACOG to a red dot. It's all up to you what you want to take with you. You can always carry, I think, one other thing with you, so one other attachment in its place, and it just is going to give you more options and more diverse gunfights instead of being like, oh, I can only take on medium to long range fights. Now you can feel like you have a little more freedom. There are going to be huge scaling giant maps, but we are going to be limited to only 7 when it first comes out, which is fine. I'm okay with 7 maps. I'm trying to stay on the positive side because I know these aren't just regular multiplayer maps. These are vast, scaling, huge, these are Battlefield, some of the biggest maps ever in the franchise. So I understand why they're limited to only 7, because these are going to be massive. So we've got Orbital. This is going to take place in French Guiana. We've got Hourglass. It's in Qatar. We've got Kaleidoscope in South Korea. We got Manifest is in Singapore. Discarded is in India. Breakaway is in Antarctica. And Renewal is going to take place in Egypt. Just to give you kind of the idea of how big these maps actually are going to be, Breakaway, the map that takes place in the Antarctic, has the surface area of 6 kilometers, almost 5.9 to be exact, but 6 kilometers pretty much. That is ginormous, you guys. That's massive. So I understand why they only have 7 maps, and I just want to play one. Just let me play one soon. Beta TM. Speaking of beta, I'm sure that's what everyone wants to know. How do you get your hands on the beta early or even at all? And we'll go through that right now because we're going to talk about the pre-order bundles. There are 3 different editions for Battlefield 2042 that you can pre-order right now. You've got Standard Edition, Gold Edition, and Ultimate Edition, and all of them give you early access to open beta. Now, this does not mean that if you don't pre-order, you don't get into the beta. It just means you don't get that early access that, pre-orders are going to get. And if you're the type of person that doesn't have a ton of money, maybe you only buy 2 or 3 games a year, and it is an expensive game, let's not lie here, you may want to wait until it becomes open to the public, try the game out, make sure you like it, and then decide whether or not you're going to buy it. But if you are like me and you're like, you know what, I'm going to pre-order, I don't care, I love Battlefield, let's just buy it. There are 3 different editions you can buy. Let's go take a look at what each of them include. The Standard Edition is just going to come with the early access to open beta. You're going to get this Mr. Chompy epic weapon charm, that's a dinosaur. You're going to get the Baku melee takedown knife, and you're also going to get the Landfall player card background and Old Guard tag. The Gold Edition is going to give you everything the Standard Edition gave you for, a good chunk more, but it's going to include a couple more goodies. So you get a year 1 pass. So of course we all saw this coming. There's going to be battle passes to this game. They're going to be doing 4 over the next year. So it's looking like 1 every 3 months. And with those, every 3 months, it's looking like they're going to have a new specialist that comes out. So they have 4 new specialists coming out over the next year. And then they also give you access to 3 new cosmetic bundles. You got the Blistered Earth bundle, the Tempest bundle, and the Cold Blood bundle. So the final edition that you can buy for all the monies, or the fanciest edition, is called the Ultimate. And this is going to include everything from Standard and Gold, but it's also going to give you exclusive digital soundtrack. It's also going to give you an official digital art book. And you know what? It's going to give you this sweet Midnight Ultimate bundle that just looks friggin' cool. Like, this looks dope. I'm not usually a sucker for skins, but I'm a sucker for this. Look at him. He looks cool with his dog. I'm down. There is one thing that we definitely need to talk about before you put all your monies down on this game, and that is that there's no campaign. This has come with mixed reactions, but this game is not going to include any single player campaign for you to play. It's going to be all multiplayer, and I know you're going to be able to play multiplayer modes with only bots, but if you're looking for that single player Battlefield campaign, this isn't going to have it. I'm really sorry to say. But we will talk about the 3 game modes that they have shown. They've talked about 2. They've shown off 1, of course, today, and that is All Out Warfare. So this one is just, you know, Battlefield multiplayer. You got your Conquest and Breakthrough, and it's just 128 player experience, and it's the multiplayer we want and love in Battlefield. They also talked about this new Hazard Zone that they haven't shown off yet, but apparently it's an all-new high-stakes squad-based game type that is modern take on multiplayer experience. Hazard Zone is distinctly Battlefield, but very different from the modes of All Out Warfare. A lot of people, including me, I'm not gonna lie to you, we're really hoping that it's Tarkov-esque. If you've ever played Escape from Tarkov, it's PvP, PvE based, so maybe it's like, you know, a bunch of squads get dropped onto one of these maps, you have objectives to do, and it's PvE, but also when you run into squads with enemies of real people, you have to wipe them or you get wiped. I'm not sure, we're just all throwing ideas out there, but I'm sure we'll see it on June 13th. And the last mode that they said they're saving until the EA Play on July 22nd, it just says redacted, and it says a new way to play Battlefield is coming. Discover unexpected battles with this experience, which will be shown in detail at EA Play live on July 22nd. This is pretty much all of the information we got today. It's a buttload. I know I tried to condense it down for everyone. If you guys want to go more in depth, I'm sure you can Google search and there's tons of videos out there, but I appreciate you watching this one. How are you guys feeling about the no campaign and the switch to kind of specialist? I really want to know in the comments below. This isn't just to get you to comment. I'm actually legitimately interested in seeing what the community's reaction to this is. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys don't mind, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. It is free for you guys, but it does mean the world to me. Also, I do stream 5 days a week on twitch.tv. You can come by, say hello. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later.